Hello, everyone. This is Studying the Bible with Brother Bolin. Thank you all for joining me. This is the channel where we analyze current events from a biblical and prophetic point of view. Today, I want to talk to you guys about demon influence and the Christian experience. It's basically a continuation of our discussion of the demonic invasion of America, and we're going to continue our discussion from the book, What Demons Can Do to Saints, written by Merrill Unger, as our study guide. So we're going to get right into our discussion, because this discussion we're going to be talking about today is something that according to research is a very serious problem among many believers. And you're going to find out what this serious problem is. And this book was written in 1977. So that goes to show you just how much this has become a problem, how long it has been a problem. And so I'm going to be reading periodically. I'm going to be reading the commentary in this book, and I'm going to be expounding and explaining as we go along. So let's begin our discussion. More severe cases of demonic influence are not as easily handled. A believer persistently yields to a besetting sin and gradually discovers that he is unable to confess it and turn away from it. But when the sin is clearly demonic, he also finds himself unwilling to do so. Why does he say unwilling to do so? Because as Merrill F. Unger said, when there's a demonic influence and the demonic spirit begins to take over and have a strong grip on the person's mind, that person would no longer want to do it. Unwilling simply means they don't want to confess it anymore. They don't want to get delivered from it. And I've known people who have suffered from demonic influence, strong demonic influence in various areas and for various reasons. And because of the demon spirit's grip on their life, not so much did they enjoy it, but because of the fear of the demon manifesting, if they seek deliverance, they are unwilling to seek deliverance. So let's continue on. A believer with a tendency towards lascivious thoughts yields to the temptation to indulge the old nature by, get this now, by reading pornographic literature. Now, he's talking about reading pornographic literature. But now, and this is in 1977, today there's pornographic movies on the internet and DVD and all kinds of stuff. So it's much, much easier for Christians to indulge in pornography than it ever was. And according to some of the research that I have read so far, many believers are bound by lascivious thoughts because of watching pornography. Mr. Unger goes on to say, he soon finds his mind polluted by vile imaginations whenever he attempts to read the Bible or pray or perform any spiritual service for God. Strong demonic influence on his mind stifles every effort in Christian living and serving. So, and I like this part. He says, he soon finds his mind polluted by vile imaginations whenever he attempts to read the Bible or pray or perform any spiritual service for God. And that's a strong statement, because it has gotten to the point where this individual has yielded so much to this type of imagery that whenever they try to pray, they can't pray straight. Every time they close their eyes, those pornographic thoughts invade their mind time and time again. Every time they try to read the word, they can't meditate on the word. They can't get any joy and peace from reading the word. Why? Because the demonic spirit that is influencing them is throwing those thoughts in their mind. And them images are flashing before them every time they try to read the word of God. That is a strong demonic influence. He goes on to say, unless the believer at this point obtains spiritual help from the word of God through a preacher of the word or a Christian counselor, so that he is brought to a state of conscious and renunciation of the confession and renunciation of the sin, he runs the risk of going on to a more severe state of demonic control. This is very important. If they don't do, if that believer who's getting all these demonic thoughts coming to him, if he or she does not seek help, somehow, some way, seek help from a pastor or a Christian counselor, from the word of God, someone who's prayed up, someone who's full of the Spirit, is able to help them through this, matriculate through this. what's going to happen is that they'll risk going on to a more severe state of demonic control. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. The lascivious tendency grows into an overpowering obsession as unclean thoughts overmaster the mind. Open immorality. Now, here's something that's really interesting that I want to talk a little bit about. He says, open immorality or sexual perversion is the result, and ministry and witness for God are destroyed. Now, what I believe he means by open immorality, meaning that this believer who has constantly yielded to these pornographic images, whether it's through pornographic literature or visual images on the internet, they're constantly yielding to this. What's going to happen is eventually they're going to end up being openly immoral. In other words, open immorality is that, hey, you know what? When it comes to fornication, they don't have no problem with committing fornication. The desires to perform what they see in the imagery will be so overwhelming that they'll be willing to commit fornication. They'll be willing to commit whatever sexual sin out in the open that is out there to be committed. It will be open immorality. It won't be hidden at home somewhere, so it will be open. So it says open immorality or sexual perversion is the result, and ministry and witness for God are destroyed. So this individual's ministry and witness for God are destroyed. Why? Because if you're openly immoral and people see that you're openly immoral and you profess to be a Christian, that's going to destroy your witness. Destroy your witness. Why? Because you allowed yourself to yield. You yielded yourself to the demonic influence of these pornographic images, and now they have pervaded your mind to such an extent that you have no control now. Those things are demonic. When it gets that kind of control, when it has that kind of control over you, it becomes demonic. Let me read the rest of this. Any sin of the flesh or spirit may be indulged in this manner and pass through the various stages of demonic influence. But in every instance, the demonic power is brought to bear upon the personality from without. That means outside. Merrill Unger goes on to say, the demon does not actually enter the body and operate from within. This type of demon subjection from without undoubtedly constitutes the category in which the great bulk of Christian experience connected with demon activity is to be classified. Comparatively, few truly born-again believers apparently go beyond strong demon influence. In fact, so few do so that many Christians maintain that none do. Many insist that no genuinely regenerated believer can be invaded by demon powers. And that's the end of that discussion there, what we're talking about right there. But suffice is to say that from that point, even though there's a strong demonic influence in that believer's life, it's still from without. The demons are pressuring them from without, on the outside of their body. But we're going to learn later on that demons can invade and enter into the body of the believer. Oh, you're going to be shocked. It's those people that don't believe that demons can invade a believer is going to be shocked from what we're going to discover. And I'm going to read the actual confessions of true born-again believers who were invaded by demons. And these demons had to be cast out. So I hope you all have received something from this lesson today. I hope you all have gotten some form of edification. We're going to continue our discussion, if the Lord say the same, in later videos. But if you have any comments, leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you all, and see you again on Studying the Bible with Brother Boland.